Hey guys! So today you and I are going to talk about responsibilities. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, hi Frederick, when this happened in this video your boss asked you to take responsibility for a team pretty much run the whole show, but not just this, do things actually change officially? How does it work? Do you get a new job offer with a new job title? Do the added responsibility come hand in hand with salary bonuses? Or could it be the case that once you become this jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than the master of one, you're pretty much expected to do anything they ask you to do as part of your current job responsibilities? So this was posted on an old video I made about being a principal engineer, and well, it's not just being a principal or a staff engineer or whatever. It's the sort of role they most, I think, have had one or two of those people in their company, or maybe you are that sort of person who takes a bit of more responsibility maybe for your team's success, or you might do some favors here and there to help out management or things like that, like go the extra mile a little bit. And so the way that I've always seen it, like the way it usually works when it comes to becoming sort of the sort of go-to person that a company, every company has a few of those people, the people who are always consulted on something, or if somebody doesn't know, they always send you to that guy or that girl at that department because they know everything and so forth and so forth. Those natural go-tos that we all love. The way you get to be that person usually is practically always the same. It starts out by management coming in with some type of ad hoc request, or some product manager or somewhere, like they need something that falls outside of the regular story work that you're doing as part of your delivery process. And usually what they will do is that they will go and try to find the person who seems most capable or most reliable, or the person that they have the most trust built up with, in order to solve their problem. And so what happens then is that they will give you a request that you help them out. And now if you say yes here, it becomes the same thing as if you are associated with a specific feature. If you deliver on a project or some feature somewhere, you own that for life, basically, because people will associate you as being the person who knows everything about that thing, and therefore they will now naturally start coming to you for every single time something is wrong or something needs to be updated or so forth and so on, because they know that you know. Same thing here. So they're going to find the first person that they can find that seems to be the most knowledgeable or most trustworthy. Now, if you say yes, what's going to happen, assuming now that it goes well, that you deliver and they're sort of happy with whatever you did for them, then the next time around they're going to do that again, and then again. And there, after a little while, you're going to start seeing that a lot of these sort of things that they themselves don't have the ability to take care of, or so forth, or time can be a range of things. Well, they start handing them to you by default, and now you know that you are the go-to person. This is usually the place where specific, like usually senior software developers are. It doesn't have to be seniors, and then you have tech leads and so forth and so forth. Like basically, for some reason, they start going to more meetings, and it's usually due to the fact that they built up a little bit of domain knowledge and they have some track record of delivering on whatever ad hoc task came their way, right? And so the thing that most people don't understand is that the that in of itself does not mean that you're going to get more money. And the way that I keep, and this is very subjective, of course, but the thing that I have seen, and I still argue for that, is that there is a big difference mentally for managers or people in a company and so forth. They make a distinction between being promoted and compensated for doing a really good job and hiring someone. Now, the way I just have seen it, and it's been the same thing for me every single time, guys. I even go as far as to say that it is a bigger achievement to get promoted than it is to get a new job, because it's harder to get a promotion than it is to get a new job in many cases. The reason being because, as I said, the manager treats us differently. If you do all this extra work, he or she might think of you as a good employee, but whether or not you get a promotion or you get a bonus or something like that, that is very much up for discussion. I'd have lost count at how many times I've had a job promotion discussion with an employer, and I've heard something like, "We don't feel you're enough that. You're not enough that. You should be doing this. You should be more that." Like they have a range of like other hoops that they want you to jump through, even though that you're doing the job and so forth. And they more or less depend on that you are able to do so. But if you stop doing so, like the quiet quitting thing, they see you as a problem now. So it's almost a little bit like in school, when your teacher figures out that you're extra good and they give you a lower grade than the other kids because they evaluate you on an individual scale rather than what the actual scale is for the class. That's them being biased because they basically make things harder for you and evaluate you harshly or more harshly due to their context or like their history with you. Manager does the same thing. So what the manager now does is that, as I said, they're going to, in some cases, they are going to look at you like, why are you not helping? Like you're a bad coworker, so forth and so forth. Or in some cases, if you're lucky, they're going to see that you're doing an extra nice job and you might get some appreciation and so forth and so forth. But that does not mean that you're getting a promotion or things like that, because even a promotion can be difficult. And I don't want to just point my finger and say that your manager is going to do this. I have had at least 2 now managers who've had my back, like really nice people. They've really tried their best for me and so forth. But the reason why I can't get a promotion is because their manager, who doesn't know me, doesn't know all the amazing things apparently I've been doing and so forth, has a budget or a company policy or something that blocks the whole thing. So even if your manager wants to reward you, they are not able to do so. And so this is what I tell people to do here. This is the reason why you want to have market value, because realistically, you can't really force your company to have a promotion in store for you just because depending on what you do. It really comes down to what do they value. So if you feel that you are doing extra work, you're going the extra mile and so forth, like as I was saying in my little story, I was doing the work of a principal and so, like staff, and I was actually doing all the thing. The only thing was lacking was the official stamp of approval. That was the only thing. And guess what I did? I took the skills, because it is the skills that matter, and then I offered those skills to another company where, incidentally, I got hired as the thing I was doing at the previous company, even though like it seemed to be a struggle to get there to begin with. And here's the kicker, and this is something you should perk up your ears now. This is a life lesson for you. When you have options, you are more likely to get what you want. The second I signed the agreement with the other company that I was moving to, the same day I sent them a message saying that I quit and I'm going to start doing this at another company. I got a counter offer like a few hours later, immediately. Like the thing that I had been waiting for almost, I'm not going to say too much, but 9 months, a year, the thing I couldn't even get a conversation about happened like that, because now I'm leaving. And that is something you should know. A lot of companies and a lot, like they don't have a plan for promotions or rewarding high achievers or anything like that. The only time they really will act swiftly is if they're about to lose someone that is critical to the business. And that's why in my little example here, the best thing for you is actually in some cases to be a really good coworker, show your value and so forth and so forth, but think about it as business. It is just business. They are paying you a certain amount for the task that you are doing. If you feel that you are being undervalued in terms of market value and so forth, go and check. Because it might be that either you find a better job, or if they feel like you're going to go away, and they see like the things that you are doing is like if they are critical, they might actually start listening because now they're about to lose something that is critical to their business. And that is a very different conversation from having someone who just wants more. And that's just my 2 cents on it. So what I want you to take away from this is that usually the way you get to be a jack of all trades, or you get promoted, or you get to be this sort of middle management type of person, at least if you're like myself or like a staff engineer, principal engineer, unless you're getting hired for it, because as I said, guys, it is sad, but I've seen it to be true many times. It's in some cases a lot easier to get a job hired as something due to the way that people think differently about promotions, where the idea is that you should prove that you're so amazing that you get promoted. And I'm sort of person who goes, no, I actually said that to my manager. I don't feel like I have anything more to prove to you. like you don't, like, no one that you hire for this position will sit and do a bunch of work for you to prove that they can do the job. Either you believe that I can do this task without me having to prove that I'm not, like, this is not a popularity contest. Either you think that I am appropriate for the role or I'm not, and that is okay, and then I'll go somewhere else and apply. And then, like, because usually the problem is that when you do promotions, guys, they have history with you, they have opinions, personal ideas about you. When you do hiring, you don't know anything about the person. You only have the CV to go on, and that becomes mentally a different thing for a lot of people. Connection with the person versus stranger who basically just does an interview. Very different ways of getting into a specific role. And so what usually happens is that you get some ad hoc requests, things that sort of falls between the shares. So you take responsibility that showcases that you care and that you are trustworthy with things that most people would not pick up. And then you become the go-to, and then it just keeps on growing on you, more and more depending on the person, right, and the needs of the company. And that's the way that you should become the domain expert and things like that. You simply just stick up your hand and say, yes, I can help you out with that extra thing or that ad hoc thing. You try to be a good coworker, and that's usually how it goes. And then after that, either you become the person who does everything for free and get nothing back for it, because, as I said, people think very differently about these sorts of things. There are many, many, many people around the world, guys, who basically, they carry the whole department on their back, and nobody notices, because, like, to them, like, there's no value to it. And if you feel that you are undervalued, that's the thing I always tell you, make sure that you have a market value check what else is out there, because you could find that you work as an extreme cat. You're a junior software developer in one company, but you're running the whole show, and you have all the skills, and you're being paid a pittance in a comparison if you just applied for a senior software position or like a tech lead or whatever in another company, and then all of a sudden everything skyrockets, because different organizations and different companies think very differently about the people that they hire and the responsibilities that are expected of an individual. Have a great day.